Hello lovely people! This week I'm doing what I'm sure a lot of us on BookTube are doing, and that is hauling the fantastic books that I got given for Christmas.
Dooby 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 Sophie Vlogs.
Some of these books are things I asked for, some of them were complete surprises, all of them are hopefully going to be delightful. I'm just gonna tell you about them now. First up is the only book that I've actually already read of all of these, and that is Not My Father's Son by Alan Cumming. I wanted this book for two reasons. One is that I've heard really, really good things about it, and the other is that I just quite like Alan Cumming. I was watching a Shakespeare adaptation that he was in, and he was doing such a good performance, and then it made me think of Spy Kids for some reason, and I was like, oh, remember when he was in that? And then essentially, I was just like, why? I really, really want this book. A full review of this book will follow very soon, but just a small plot setup. What I knew when I requested this book was that it is it's an autobiography, but it's looking at his had quite a hard childhood. His father was very abusive, and then one day he gets a phone call from his father, and it completely turns his world upside down. And this book sort of looks at this emotional journey he went on. It's and tells you more about his childhood at the same time. So that was why I wanted this book. I will post a review soon, but for now I will leave it at that, and I will just tell you about some other books I also got that I haven't read yet. One of those is Unsuitable for Ladies, an anthology of women travellers by Jane Robinson. I've mentioned Jane Robinson a couple of times on this channel. This will be my third of hers that I've read. I previously read Bluestocking for Nonfiction November, which was great, and I read another book that I can't remember the name, Pandora's Daughters, that's it, which was just like a collection of cool women. This specifically focuses on women travellers. I didn't actually know anything more than that when I asked for it. It's just, I've had such a fun time reading Jane Robinson's books. I find them very accessible. There's a lot of first-hand accounts where possible, or in the case of like Pandora's Daughter, where a lot of them have been dead for many hundreds of years. A lot of contemporary sources drawn upon, that sort of thing. So I don't know anything more about this. I don't know who's going to be in this book. I'm just quite excited to just find out. She keeps bumping up my list of cool ladies from history, so I'm looking forward to this. After that we have a very exciting book from classical antiquity, and that is Eratosthenes and Hyginus Constellation Myths. Essentially, as the Greeks mapped out the night sky, they also came up with myths and stories to explain the constellations. I am familiar with some. I'm not that familiar with a lot of them, though. I also, you're like, oh, aren't the stars cool? When you know absolutely nothing about them. So, I like the night sky. When I was younger, I lived slightly more in the countryside. My parents, if it was a really starry night, would take us out and point out constellations to us and stuff, but I've largely forgotten most of those. So I'm just really excited for this. I'm excited to read some new... This is because it's been a while since I've read some classical texts that are slightly out of my comfort zone. So I read Sappho very recently. I'm very comfortable with Sappho and poetry and blah. I've not read Constellation Myths ever in this form. So I'm really excited for this one. After this is the only book that I knew for definite that I was actually going to be getting, and that is book one of the Book of Dust by Philip Pullman. I don't think you need me to explain to you why this is an exciting book. I feel like we're all fairly hyped. I do also think this is gorgeous, which is why normally I don't really buy a lot of hardback books. I prefer reading paperback books because I do most of it, as I keep saying interminably, on public transport. This is going to be a little bit more hefty to lug around the place with me. But just that whole hardcover arrangement is so gorgeous that I'm just so excited. And I also only really know that this is exploring more about dust. Obviously, the Book of Dust. But, I'm just saying, I don't really actually know what the plot setup of this is. So I'm very, very excited. I'm probably not going to get around to this one until after I have finished my reread of the Northern Lights one. I've read Northern Lights. I need to start The Subtle Knife, and then once I've finished the trilogy, I will move on to this beauteous thing. I'm going to end on a run of, graphic novels and comics. First up is Betty and Veronica Vixens, issue 1, because I watched Riverdale. I'm still watching series 2, I haven't finished it yet. And they really teased us that Veronica was gonna happen, and then they never followed through on it. So my friend bought me this because he said, if nothing else, he knew I would love the cover. So I'm just really excited. I'm saving it for a moment where I need some Veronica in my life. And yes, this is gorgeous and beautiful and everything I've ever wanted. The same friend also got me volume 1 and 2 of Kill Shakespeare, which I am really excited about. If I just read you the back. This dark take on the bard pits his greatest heroes, Hamlet, Juliet, Othello, Falstaff, against his most menacing villains, Richard III, Lady Macbeth, Iago, in an epic adventure to find and kill a reclusive wizard named William Shakespeare. Which is like Shakespeare meets like murder? And I am so thrilled to read these. I hope this is going to be a lot of fun. It says it's quite dark. We'll see how that plays out. Definitely reviews to follow. Planning on reading these very soon. So excited. Oh, who's it by? Sorry, it's by McCreary, Del Cole, and Bellinger. And finally was a present from my dad, and that is The Ballad of Halo Jones, 2000 AD, The Ultimate Collection. My dad has been buying 2000 AD since like the early 80s, I'm gonna say. He loves them. Had to stop buying them for a while because like comics are expensive, but he's recently picked it back up again due to the fact that I met a really amazing Judge Dredd cosplayer when I went to Thought Bubble in 2017, and I sent him a picture and he was so thrilled by the picture that he decided to start buying them again. So my dad is having a 2000 AD renaissance, and so he's bought me this, and the only thing I needed to sell me on this is a critically acclaimed feminist space opera from writer Alan Moore and Ian Gibson. That is all I needed to know. I am thrilled, I can't wait. It's been ages since I've read any 2000 AD, so I'm really excited to dip my toe back in the water. Those are all the books I have to share. Please do let me know if you've got anything wildly exciting for Christmas. I would love to add more things to my never-ending to-read list. That would be great. And as per usual, if you've read any of these, let me know, give me your thoughts, la 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 la. I'm just very excited. I will stop now before I become an excited mess. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you next time.